This is the Biz News Podcast, one-on-one conversations with experts in business and personal development.
Feeling stressed out at work, or maybe at home, or both? Sara Thornhill hears you. As a rape survivor who's divorced twice and having come out of the closet later in life, Ms. Thornhill says she understands the upheaval that is possible through big life changes. But flip the coin. She says healing is a birthright, that a life of thrive is possible for everyone regardless of circumstances. She explains more in this Biz News interview. Sara, these are trying times for anybody. Many of your clients, though, have added stress, to say the least. How should they approach their business supervisors, managers, or leaders if they're seeking any sort of relief from stress at work?
Stress affects everyone, and I believe that we think that we should just live with it. In these modern times, it's like we don't think that we can seek help. And I think that it is imperative that people advocate for their mental health and speak up and simply saying, I need support. Is there a place where I can go to find out about resources available? I need to take a mental health day. And of course, couch it within what's best for the company and for the business. I know that I'll be able to perform at my optimum and serve our community, whatever kind of community that is, whether it's the internal community or if the company actually serves the world, just by advocating for what they need and using their voice.
Let me flip the coin on this and put you in the manager's seat. When an employee comes to you, obviously stressed out, or doesn't come, and you just notice there is deterioration in how they interact, what should you do as a manager?
In my company specifically, because I am CEO of my company, we practice, promulgate, and promote preventative communication. There's a lot of P's in there. Preventative communication, proactive communication, so that we don't have to say, how are you today? Is there anything going on? We want to be able to have emotional check-ins if and when we need to, because we are in the business of helping people to vibrate at their highest and to be able to serve the community. So, obviously there are times when we do have to be tenacious. We have to push through no matter what. There are times when we need to be resilient, and we as managers can use our discretion and decide, well, okay, is it going to be in the best interest of the company, of this person, of the community that we serve, to be tenacious and push through? Where's the lesson? Where is the ability to practice what we preach? So it's all about using discernment, discretion, and making sure that we're serving ourselves first. We can't pour from an empty cup. That way we can serve others.
Sara, how did you get into this line of work?
Meditation is medicine. And I think that there's no coincidence that meditation and medication are only one letter off. When we...
I was just spelling in my head there for a second.
When we commune with ourselves, and I say that's yourself with a capital S, that is the most important relationship that we will ever have. When we talk about ourselves, I am the most important, the most permanent relationship I will ever have. we really do come into this world alone, even though we have parents or caregivers who are there to make sure that we survive initially, and we leave alone. And sure, we pick up people along the way, but it's about that self with a capital S. That's the person that we need to attend to the most. And when we are experiencing stress, experiencing difficulty, whatever that difficulty might be, a lot of times people turn to the 3D world. I call those 3Ds: deny, distract, dissociate. And the modern world provides us with plenty of opportunities to deny, distract, dissociate. But that is not where the answers lie. There are so many maxims. There are answers in silence. And I say, stop the downward spiral and learn to spin within. Because
Take us back to when you started your practice. How has it changed from that point in time to today?
when I started my meditation practice 8-9 years ago, it was a lifeline for me. I absolutely, meditation saved my life. Meditation saved my life. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for my meditation practice.
You really ought to explain that to our listeners and viewers. How did that happen?
Well, I hope I have permission to speak freely here.
Totally. Yes.
I might want to give a trigger warning to your listeners. I experienced sexual trauma from a very young age. When I was 28 years old, I was raped by 8 men. And I did not deal with it. I did not go to the police. I drank instead to deal with the trauma. So when I started meditating at 34 years old, it was just a gentle, you haven't dealt with this. I found myself in these silent spaces with the knowledge that I need healing. And if it weren't for meditative practices, I know I wouldn't be here, because it helped me to get sober, to come out of the closet and exist as a lesbian, a queer person with confidence, because I was in the closet for decades. My parents still don't accept me for who I am. They still hope that I will get remarried to my ex-husband and not be gay. And I know that being able to rely on myself and not look for approval from my parents as a 43-year-old person, I'm still combating that actively. And it's because of the deep, profound relationship that I have with myself, because I'm able to show up authentically, because I'm proud of who I am, and not in the gay pride sense, but just in the clarity, the confidence that I have that I am being my true self. That is how I'm able to show up for my clients. And my practice has evolved. My personal practice, I do meditate at least twice a day, the variety of different tools. And I promote everyone, of course, in my company as a meditator. And we've approached meditation healing from a variety of different standpoints. We were helping people with stress, and then we focused on anxiety. Then we honed in on high functioning anxiety, a specific kind. And now we're really laser focused on heartbreak in the queer community, specifically for lesbians, because heartbreak is a trauma. And it's not the first one. It began in childhood with the attachments that we form to our primary caregivers. And then we repeat these dynamics in relationship later on in life with the people we choose to date and marry. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but it is the reason why I'm here. I believe that the reason I'm here on earth, my dharma, if you will, is to lead and empower 28 million humans to heal trauma with the magic of meditation. Because we were meditating when we were young. Between the ages of 0 and 7, we are in a deep meditative state. Between 0 and 2, we're in delta brainwaves, which is deep sleep. And between 2 and 7, we're in theta brainwaves. This is hypnosis. This is why children play and imagine so easily. We're incredibly impressionable, and we personalize any experiences. We believe that if mom and dad don't want to play with us, or somebody on the playground rejects us, that's because of something intrinsically wrong with us. And this is where we get that core wounding. And so it's with the magic of meditation that we're able to approach these wounds very gently. We don't need exposure therapy or EMDR or to relive any of these traumas, but instead we can re-enter that space with a lot of compassion. I call this space between the ears, that you might have to beep this out in post-production, that the itty bitty shitty committee. Well, it's really the itty bitty kitty committee. It's our kid selves, where we formulated these beliefs that we have about the world. And it's really beautiful, because now we know how to move our tongue and talk, and move our legs and walk, and carefully unlock a key without even having to think about it. And we have traumatic experiences that were formulated during that very delicate time when we were meditating, that then represent themselves later on in life, where we get triggered and we end up fighting over the laundry or the dishes. And it's not about the laundry or the dishes. It's about, you don't care about me. You don't love me. And so we can use these magical states of meditation to rewrite who we are, and then to experience life differently on a day-to-day basis.
It must be a wonderful practice when you see people taking your advice and pulling themselves up out of the depths.
You're right. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I can provide it all I want, but they have to do the work themselves. And when someone chooses to stop the downward spiral and learn to spin within and use these tools, it is such a transformation. So many women, humans even, have said, Sara, you saved my life. I wouldn't be here. And it's because of this deep transformative work that they do themselves. They have to want it.
How can our listeners and viewers reach you? A website, perhaps?
Yeah, you can find us on our website, sarawebsays.com. We also have a free Facebook group for lesbians, queer, women-loving women. It's called Queer Hearts Break Harder. Over 2,000 women in that group. We just started it a few months ago. And of course, you can find me on Instagram and on YouTube. Those are burgeoning places. But yes, lots of information on sarawebsays.com. That's SARAWEBBSAYS.com.
And Sara, what would you like to add that we have not talked about? And we've talked about an awful lot of very serious stuff, but it could be anything.
My mantra is meditate. Even if you think you can't meditate, if you think you don't want to meditate, that which we have the greatest resistance to is often our greatest savior. There are thousands of different kinds of meditation. Just keep trying and find the kind that works for you.
You've been listening to the Biz News Podcast. We welcome your input. Send your email to editor@biznews.com. That's BIZGNUS.com. Thanks for listening.